New overnight, Senate Republicans agree to give the woman accusing President Trump's Supreme Court nominee one more day to decide whether or not she'll testify. Plus, wall-to-wall construction isn't stopping an annual festival from taking place today on Monroe Street. And we're breaking down the 3 things to watch for as the Badgers take the field under the lights for their first Big Ten matchup of the season.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is 8 o'clock on the September 22nd. I'm Josh Ryder with meteorologist Chris Reese, who is especially excited for fall. Just what, a few hours away now?
A few hours away. I've got my mug here. It says meteorologist on it, a gift from a friend, but it is not full of coffee, full of apple cider.
Ooh.
This morning. Yes, I've also got my fall hiking boots, so you can catch me outside over the next coming days, because I'm certainly going to be enjoying this fall weather. That does start today. We'll have our fall equinox at 8:54 tonight. So here's the deal. It's not exactly fall yet. We're still in our last hours of summer, but it does start today. And what happens during the equinox is actually the sun hits the equator and, it heats the earth evenly during that moment. We'll have the same amount of sunlight and the same amount of nighttime hours. But it is much colder today than it was yesterday. 24 degrees cooler right now. 44 the temperature, 36 up in Black River Falls. They made it down to 32 this morning. In Madison, we made it all the way down to 39, but those dew points have come up to 42 a little bit, so our temperatures are responding as well. Wind still out of the north at 5 miles per hour, but we are not worried about any kind of rain for us. There's a little bit of snow just on the southern Canada border there. That's not coming here anytime soon. 42 to 60 as we go through the morning. By the afternoon, we'll see our highs right around 66 degrees.
Very nice and pleasant day. Those crisp mornings are always just so fresh.
They really are. It's literally a breath of fresh air as you step outside. You can see your breath this morning, actually. Fun fact, if you're going to be out, but it's still going to be a great day.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
We begin with a breaking news update this morning. 2 of the victims from Wednesday's shooting at WTS Paradigm have been released from the hospital. Another victim has been upgraded to fair condition. The UW hospital released this information just minutes ago. 3 people were treated for gunshot wounds. A 4th person injured during the incident was released from the hospital yesterday. We are learning new information about the 4 first responders who confronted the Middleton shooter this week. The city's chief of police calls their actions heroic. The Middleton Police Department identifies them as Officer Richard O'Connor and Officer Tyler Lothar. Officer O'Connor has been with the department since 1998 and is actually an active shooter response trainer. Officer Lothar has been with the department since 2012 and is the current school resource officer at Middleton High School. The other 2 are Dane County Sheriff's Office deputies David Lambrecht and Matthew Earl. Deputy Lambrecht has been with the department for 21 years, Deputy Earl for 11. All 4 involved are on paid administrative leave, which is standard protocol until that investigation is complete. We're also learning more about the shooter, Anthony Tong, including a disturbing incident from his past. News 3 obtained court documents detailing a welfare check from 2004 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where Tong lived at the time. His landlord called police after Tong disabled several smoke detectors. The documents describe Tong as acting very odd, holding a handgun and telling police these smoke detectors were used to eavesdrop on him. Officers then discovered more than 1,000 rounds of ammunition along with an AR-15 rifle.
Based on that incident, Tong had his concealed carry permit revoked. And based upon that history, Tong was unable to legally purchase a firearm.
According to a search warrant document released publicly yesterday, inside Tong's home on the far west side, investigators found several gun parts, hundreds of rounds of ammo, a gun-making kit, and Kevlar vests. Police say the weapon used in Wednesday's shooting was, quote, unique, making it more difficult for the ATF to track down the seller.
And investigators have been or will be speaking to coworkers, acquaintances, and family. The family is out of state. They have been interviewed by the FBI, but certainly investigators from Division of Criminal Investigation want to do more in-depth interviews and to try to find out if in some way they can determine a motive. But as of now, a motive has not been determined.
For anyone who was impacted by this event directly or indirectly, there are trauma specialists available to talk. For help, call one of the numbers listed right there on your screen. You can also find them on our website, channel3000.com. Right now, Wisconsin politicians are responding to Wednesday's shooting at an office building in Middleton. This, of course, comes just ahead of the upcoming November election. U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin said the shooting shows the need for new gun control measures. She says she's a gun owner, but the Second Amendment is consistent with stronger safety regulations. And a spokesperson for State Senator Leah Vukmir, who's running against Baldwin in November, says, quote, Senator Baldwin is forever giving meaningless lip service to a very serious issue. In response to the shooting, students and community members are hosting a die-in tomorrow. It's a protest against gun violence taking place inside the state capitol. The rally starts at 3. Organizations like Save Our Students Madison and March for Our Lives are helping to organize that protest. Breaking overnight, the Dane County Sheriff's Office is searching for a witness of a possible abduction and assault. Right now, the victim in this case is safe and working with detectives. The suspect is in the Dane County Jail. Officials say the suspect, a Hispanic male, and victim, a Hispanic female, would have been traveling westbound on Interstate 94 near Johnson Creek and Lake Mills between 10:30 and 11 last night. They were in a red 2014 Ford Escape. The SUV would have exited from I-94 at either Highway 26 or Highway 89 and stopped by a gas station. Before getting back on the interstate, the victim states their vehicle was side by side with another vehicle with a female driver. The victim shouted for help and feels the woman may have heard her. If you have any information, you're asked to call 284-6900. Now to Washington at 8:07 this morning, where Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Chuck Grassley agreed overnight to give the woman accusing Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh of sexual assault another day to decide if she'll testify. The appellate judge has denied Christine Blasey Ford's claims he put his hand over her mouth and groped her at a high school party. Republicans on the Senate committee rejected Ford's request for a full FBI investigation and went ahead with their own probe. 75 female friends and colleagues gathered Friday to show support for Kavanaugh.
The reason that we know that this allegation is false is because we know Brett Kavanaugh.
After several days of restraint, the president is now questioning Ford's story, tweeting, if the attack on Dr. Ford was as bad as she says, charges would have been filed with local authorities by her or her loving parents. Still, some Republicans remain confident about the outcome.
In the very near future, Judge Kavanaugh will be on the United States Supreme Court.
Republicans want Kavanaugh confirmed before the Supreme Court begins its new session on October 1st. In other news this morning, Madison city leaders are now demanding answers after ICE officials arrested 6 people in the Madison area Friday. Police Chief Mike Koval says the federal officials broke procedure by not notifying his department ahead of time. Koval says he doesn't know why the people were arrested or where they're being held. He says this has never happened in years past.
In this instance, this is relatively a departure from what we've seen historically, and it's one that I hope that we can reconcile working through their chain of command in the future.
Madison city officials are offering legal services for anyone impacted by yesterday's arrests. You can find out how to get in contact with representatives on our website, channel3000.com. Well, the Badgers are out of town this weekend, taking on the Hawkeyes in Iowa City. It's the first Big Ten game of the season for the Badgers, who are now sitting at 18th in the latest AP poll after last week's disappointing loss to BYU. News 3 Sports Director Jay Wilson has 3 things to watch for in tonight's game.
When the Badgers play at Iowa tonight at 7:30, here are 3 things to watch. Will Alex Hornibrook recover from a subpar day and a surprising loss to BYU last Saturday? Hornibrook and the Badger offense never got it going last week. They hope to reestablish the explosive running of Jonathan Taylor and perhaps get Danny Davis more involved in the passing game after his return from suspension last week. Now, the Badgers will face the Dean of Big Ten coaches, Kirk Ferentz, in his 20th season as Iowa's head coach. He has his team off to a 3-0 start. The winner of the Iowa-Wisconsin game the last 4 years has gone on to represent the West Division in the Big Ten championship game in December, and it sure looks like that could be the case again this season. For the Badgers, winning at Kinnick Stadium at night will be a huge challenge. In the last couple of years, Michigan and Ohio State were ranked in the top 5 of the nation before the Hawkeyes beat them both at night at Kinnick. But the Badgers have handled things well in Iowa City, quite well, thank you. Wisconsin has beaten Iowa their last 4 meetings at the home of the Hawkeyes. And those are 3 things to watch for in Wisconsin and Iowa tonight.
Iowa remains unranked. Kickoff is set for 7:30 tonight. The Green Bay Packers will also be away this weekend, facing off against the Washington Redskins tomorrow afternoon. All eyes are again on the knee of Aaron Rodgers. Just like last week, there's still a chance he will play. He is scheduled to practice today, although his condition is still listed as questionable. The team is taking a day-by-day approach, seeing how he feels. The Packers kick off tomorrow at noon. We have a couple First Alert traffic notes to pass along this weekend. West Gorham will be down to 1 lane at State Street for pavement repairs. That started at 7 this morning, running until 7 Monday. If you're heading downtown, you should expect delays in that area. Work on the Interstate Bridge over Milton Avenue in Janesville starts today as well. You can expect some overnight closures in that area from 7 tonight until 7 tomorrow morning. Work there is part of the I-3990 expansion project. 11 minutes past the hour, and even though the pavement is still torn up along Monroe Street in Madison, the 41st annual Monroe Street Festival will happen this weekend. This year, the Madison Arts Commission and the Monroe Street Merchants Association will reveal a new mosaic mural called Passing Through Time. That will be along the Southwest commuter path in that area. That festival runs from 9:30 to 5 today. If sampling authentic German beer is more your style, the Isthmus Oktoberfest is today. It's the 4th annual celebration happening from 3 to 7 at Breeze Stevens Field. Each attendee gets a souvenir stein for unlimited beer and wine samples. Your ticket also includes a German-style box lunch, polka as you're listening to right now, DJ, and plenty of fest games. One of the only equal pay cycling cups in the Jefferson County area is this weekend. Track is hosting the Cyclocross World Cup in Waterloo. The event started Thursday with the championship scheduled for tomorrow. If you're wondering what cyclocross is, it's a specific type of biking that includes both paved and off-road courses. Trek says it's committed to equality when it comes to prize money for both men and women. It's hoping to inspire equal pay across the industry. We have about 2 weeks left for our Coats for Kids campaign, so keep the donations coming. We're well past 1,000 coats right now. You can help kids in Dane County by donating gently used winter coats, hats, mittens, or snow pants to any Clinky Cleaners. If you can't donate, we're also looking for volunteers to sort all those coats as they come in. Help is also needed with distribution next month. To sign up, give the Community Action Coalition a call at the number on your screen. That number can also be found on the Channel 3000 mobile app. 8:13 is your time right now. There are just a few hours left of summer, and the temperatures are already starting to feel like it out there. Here's a live look outside. There's the Capitol right now. With this week's rain behind us, shoppers are in for a very sunny day at the market. Chris is in next with his full First Alert forecast. And witches, warlocks hit the big screen ahead of Halloween. We'll have Will Loper's review of the feature film adaptation of a children's classic. You're watching News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good Saturday morning to all of you. Temperatures today are substantially cooler than they were at this time yesterday. That's thanks to that first blast of fall coming on through here. But boy, it feels good. It feels good to be outside. Let's go ahead and show you how much cooler things are. 24 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago right now here in Madison, upwards of essentially 15 to 25 degrees cooler all across south central Wisconsin. Now, actual air temperatures are still in the 40s for us, 44 degrees here. 38 in Black River Falls. Now, Black River Falls started out at 32. We started out at 39 degrees this morning, but things are beginning to gradually warm up under the sunshine that we have out there. And there's a whole lot more where that came from as we go through the day. Winds will gradually be turning out of the south, though, at 6 miles per hour. Into the afternoon, we'll continue that southerly wind even through Sunday as well, where that really begins to increase. So that means we're going to see a gradual warming trend, topping out right around 66 degrees this afternoon. Overnight tonight will be cool, just not as cool, with lows staying in the 40s. And then tomorrow we return our temperatures into the 70s with more sunshine back into the picture. That's ahead of a cold front that's going to be coming our way. We'll talk about that. The high pressure right over Wisconsin, keeping us clear and keeping us full of sunshine right now. But that moves its way over towards the south and east, which is why we're going to get more of a southerly wind flow. But it's the region of low pressure that you see over the plains right now. That is what's going to be bringing the next rain chance. And you'll notice that rain chance moving into town, especially as we go Monday and into Tuesday. And there's a possibility that some of those could have thunderstorms embedded. So we're going to be watching that. But I'm not overly concerned about a severe weather threat at this time. Temperatures, though, they'll be coming down behind that cold front by next weekend. It could be a struggle to get out of, say, the 50s. It will barely reach 60 degrees maybe, and it's possible that we'll see our lows even deeper into the 30s for a lot of spots. So this morning, 42 to 60 degrees, a chilly start, but yes, plenty of sunshine will be out there. By the afternoon, we're still cooler, but very sunny. We'll see highs right around 66 degrees this afternoon. 70s do return as we head into Sunday, though, and Monday, with a few more rain chances going through next week as well before we get to another cool weekend next week. So it's a full week of fall weather with temperatures that are actually below average, Josh.
So much sunshine for the weekend. How do we get so lucky?
I have no idea. I think we're just in the right spot at the right time to enjoy all of this.
I love it, Chris. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Telemundo has released its list of nominees and performers for the 4th Annual Latin Music Awards. Ozuna and J Balvin lead the pack of nominees, nabbing 9 each. Ozuna is the most viewed artist globally on YouTube. Cardi B is among the performers set to appear on the show, along with Mr. Worldwide himself, Pitbull, as well as Flo Rida. The fan-voted awards show will broadcast live from Hollywood on October 25th.
A renegade soldier when I see one. Never occurred to me that one might come from above.
And this week, we're getting a first glimpse at the latest superhero movie trailer. Marvel Studios has released a teaser for their next comic book-based film, Captain Marvel. Brie Larson stars as Carol Danvers, an Air Force pilot who becomes one of the most powerful heroes in the universe. The 90s set adventure is Marvel's first female-led film. Jude Law co-stars and Samuel L. Jackson returns as Nick Fury. Captain Marvel blasts into theaters next March. This weekend, a big screen adaptation of a classic children's novel about witches and warlocks is showing in theaters just in time for Halloween. It involves Jack Black throwing fireballs, Cate Blanchett with a magic purple umbrella, and evil demon pumpkins that have come to life. Will Loper takes us inside the house with a clock in its walls.
Have a look around. You're perfectly safe.
That's safe?
As long as it's fed. Do you know what a warlock is, Lewis?
A boy witch.
I think they're a little more than boy witches.
Are you saying that you're a warlock?
Jack Black plays a warlock trying to figure out where a mysterious ticking in his house is coming from.
Do you hear the ticking?
This house used to be owned by another warlock.
He's very wicked, very powerful.
He left a hidden clock in the walls. We don't know what it does, except something horrible.
The house with a clock in its walls is rated PG.
Shall we?
God, I hate pumpkins.
Time right now is 8:21. It is a walk to remember. Mark your calendars for the Walk to End Alzheimer's just a couple of weeks away now. How you can join in on this year's quest for a cure. And targeting teens and e-cigs. The new initiative from the FDA cracking down on the number of kids vaping. That's next on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
.44 degrees, that's the temperature outside if you were waking up and preparing to step out. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Chris Reese. We're going to keep this sunshine around going through the rest of the day, and temperatures are going to warm up to right around 66 degrees. So that's going to make for a pretty pleasant afternoon. In fact, we may even see some decorator clouds out there, really just to make the skies blue and vibrant. We are not concerned about any rain chances over the weekend, but as we head into early next week, Monday night and into Tuesday, that's when the next rain chances could arrive here across south central Wisconsin. I'll have details on that coming up. Josh.
All right, Chris. Right now, more than 100,000 Wisconsinites are living with Alzheimer's or dementia. There's an important effort happening to fund research that could hopefully lead to a cure. News 3 is a proud sponsor of the Walk to End Alzheimer's. It's happening at Memorial High School on Sunday, October 7th. Walkers have raised more than $90,000 so far. That's nearly half of the $200,000 goal for the event. If you'd like to join in, you can find out more information online at alz.org. With more and more teenagers vaping, the FDA is launching a hard-hitting campaign aimed at keeping young people from using e-cigarettes. Government health officials hope graphic messages will educate teens about the dangers of e-cigs to prevent them from vaping. The FDA's Real Cost campaign targets the more than 10 million 12 to 17-year-olds who have vaped before or are open to trying. Time right now is 8:26. There's more to come here on News 3 this morning. Your top stories are just ahead, including a preview of tonight's Badger game. And area veterans are on their way to Washington, D.C. this morning to tour the national monuments in their honor. We'll catch up with them at the airport ahead of this Badger honor flight. Thanks for watching News 3 this morning, Saturday. A call for action, how a moving scam left a local family without their treasured belongings. It's a News 3 investigation.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is 8:30 on this August 22nd. Just a few more hours of fall or summer left. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese has a very pleasant weekend forecast just ahead. But first, a breaking news update. Two of the victims from Wednesday's shooting at WTS Paradigm have been released from the hospital. UW Hospital confirms one other has been upgraded to fair condition. 3 people were treated for gunshot wounds. A 4th person injured during the incident was released from the hospital yesterday. In response to the Middleton office shooting Wednesday, students and community members are hosting a die-in this weekend. It's a protest against gun violence taking place inside the state capitol tomorrow. The rally starts at 3. Organizations like Save Our Students Madison and March for Our Lives are helping to organize the protest. The Badgers are on the road tonight under the lights, taking on the Hawkeyes in Iowa City. It's the first Big Ten game of the season for the Badgers, who are now sitting at 18th in the latest AP poll. Of course, that comes after last week's disappointing loss to BYU. Iowa's unranked, but always give teams a hard time when they're at home, including a big upset of Ohio State last year. Kickoff is at 7:30 tonight. We have a first alert traffic note for drivers heading downtown this weekend. West Gorham will be down to 1 lane at State Street. This is for pavement repairs. That starts at 7 this morning, or started at 7 this morning, running until 7 Monday morning. If you're heading to that area, you should expect some delays. Coming up on 8:32, let's send it over to meteorologist Chris Reese, who has a very fall-like forecast. We can almost say it, right?
You can almost say it. We are very close. Temperatures are already cooler than they were at this time yesterday by 24 degrees here in Madison. Black River Falls 20 degrees cooler. Now earlier this morning, Black River Falls was 32 degrees cooler than they were 24 hours ago, and that's when their temperature was 32. But it's warmed up to 38 now there. We're at 44 here in town, 50 at Mineral Point. So you see what's happening now, all that sunshine beginning to heat the earth, and temperatures are responding to that. We still have winds out of the north at about 5 miles per hour, and it's that calm northerly wind that's really kind of helped keep things dry. But we're going to see plenty of sunshine around, some snow across southern Canada. No concern for us. Some rain across the Mid-South. Again, even that is no concern for us going through the weekend. So through the morning, temperatures will go from 42 to 60 degrees. By the afternoon, we'll see them top out right around 66 degrees. Now, if you're going to be headed out to the farmer's market, you're wondering what the traffic is looking like. So far, all is smooth. Yeah, we got some cars out on the Beltline, but we are not concerned about any traffic issues. None are really showing up this morning. The Beltline looks smooth, as does the rest of Dane County. Josh?
All right, Chris, still early this morning.
It really is.
Happening now, nearly 100 Madison area veterans are on their way to the nation's capital this morning for their Badger Honor Flight. The regional program is part of the National Honor Flight Network, which works to send all World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam War veterans to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials built in their honor. The flight, honorary shirts, jackets, and hats, as well as meals, are completely free to all veterans.
We encourage more folks to come on out. It's a great chance to come out and meet the veterans, because tonight, be about 5,000 of their closest friends will be here at the airport to greet them, and that's what it's all about.
After a full day of sightseeing and special ceremonies, they're scheduled to return here in Madison just before 9 tonight. Right now, a Wisconsin man is out almost $10,000 plus all of his belongings after trusting a company to help him make the move to Florida. Consumer advocates we talked to say this could happen to you or anyone. Arlie Lynchide has this call for action report.
I'm a Wisconsin guy through and through.
It's a move Chris Bauman never expected to make.
It was a fresh start I think our entire family needed.
But family circumstances sent his family packing in favor of Florida. Fast forward 3 months, though, 87 days to be exact, and Chris's move isn't over. His Panama City beach house is empty. When Chris first researched moving companies to deliver his family's belongings the 1,000 miles south, he went with Titan Moving and Storage, based in Virginia, with a spotless record in online reviews.
My wife and I even looked at each other, I remember at one point in the call, and said, "This sounds really good."
When the moving truck showed up to his Lake Mills home, though, the company's estimate suddenly doubled.
My price, and they discounted it, still ended up at $12,000. The original estimate, $6,270.
Chris had to pay $9,000 of that up front, but Titan wouldn't take a credit card. Instead, he had to wire transfer the money.
So we agreed to it. Never in my wildest dreams did I still really think I was dealing with somebody that's going to steal our property.
Then, after weeks of waiting and back and forth calls and what Chris considers delay tactics, Chris's family is still without their stuff, upwards of $100,000 of sometimes priceless belongings.
Thank you for choosing Titan Moving and Storage.
I am calling on behalf of one of your customers who has not yet received his belongings.
When we tried to call Titan, they refused to give us any information about Chris's case.
This is a form of holding your belongings hostage.
These companies can fool people like Chris by copying someone else's identity.
They will try and hijack those reputable names to give themselves credibility.
There were red flags. There were red flags.
What are some of those red flags that you should catch if you ever consider a move? We asked the folks over at DACAP for their advice.
If they won't come and actually view your belongings to give you a written estimate of what it'll cost to move, they'll just quote it over the phone based on a conversation. That is one initial red flag.
Chris talked to salesmen on the phone who then changed their tune when they showed up.
Do they show up with a legitimate truck that they own, or do they show up with a rental vehicle, such as one that anyone would move apartment to apartment in the same city?
Chris says in his case, it was the latter.
Being in a Penske truck, that should have been a red flag right there.
Maybe the most logical piece of advice?
Checking out their website, that may or may not help you in doing some of that research up front. Do they have a legitimate presence, a real office?
If you're moving across state lines, check to make sure the company's registered with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, and check the address of the institution to see if it's even real. Here's a look at the address Titan gave Chris. It's an empty building.
When you've been victimized and you feel the pain of it, you want to become an advocate to make sure this doesn't happen to other people.
Chris isn't sure talking to us will get this company moving to get him back his stuff, but maybe it will warn the next family.
Had I seen stories like this over and over and paid attention to them and heard them, when this move came, I would not have made these mistakes. I would have trusted my instincts.
In Madison, I'm Leah Lynchide with WISC News 3.
Chris says the latest he's heard from Titan is his stuff is in a storage garage somewhere in Indianapolis. The company, though, won't give him the address. Coming up on 8:38 this Saturday morning, to infinity and beyond, Elon Musk and SpaceX are launching a mission to the moon, and one very rich man is already on board. We'll hear from the Japanese businessman who has already secured his ticket. How soon the big Falcon rocket could take off on News 3 this morning, Saturday.
Do
Good, beautiful Saturday morning to you. Temperatures are a little bit cool as you step out the door. 44 degrees right now. We will warm up as we go through the day, so you might need a light jacket early. You'll shed that later on. Temperatures will top out right around 66 degrees for your afternoon highs. Get this, though, that's coupled with plenty of sunshine, so instead of chilly, it's going to be more so pleasant in nature. We might see some decorator clouds here or there. No rain chances going through the weekend, but the next rain chances do arrive as we go towards Monday night into Tuesday. We're going to break that all down, and main weather coming up here in about 5 minutes. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. Just about 8:42 this morning, a Japanese billionaire became the first passenger to book a seat on SpaceX's planned commercial flight to the moon this week. Yusaku Maezawa paid an undisclosed amount of money to travel on the company's new Big Falcon rocket. Elon Musk says the project will cost $5 billion to complete and could be ready as early as 2023. Maria Villarreal reports.
I choose to go to the moon.
In front of a packed house, SpaceX founder Elon Musk introduced his newest partner in space exploration, billionaire Yusaku Maezawa.
I thought about how I can give back to the world and how this can contribute to world peace. This is my lifelong dream.
The founder of Japan's largest retail website, Maezawa purchased every seat on the trip and plans to bring up to 8 artists along for the ride.
These artists will be asked to create something after they return to Earth. And these masterpieces will inspire the dreamer within all of us.
The BFR rocket will be nearly 400 feet long and equipped with a reusable booster rocket that will produce 200 tons of thrust. The plan is to send passengers around the moon and back, a more than 475,000-mile journey in about 5 days.
This is a dangerous mission. It's definitely dangerous.
I'm not afraid of at all.
You're not afraid at all?
No.
Why? How?
I trust the SpaceX team.
But SpaceX has had problems meeting deadlines. Its last rocket, the Falcon Heavy, had its first successful launch nearly 5 years later than expected.
What makes you so sure that you can actually meet that 2023 deadline?
It's not 100% certain that we succeed in getting this to flight, but we're going to do everything humanly possible to bring it to flight as fast as we can and as safely as we can.
It's a risky investment 42-year-old Maezawa is willing to make for a shot at a lunar legacy.
It is just about 15 minutes to 9 o'clock right now. The first full day of fall is tomorrow, but the weather has already taken a turn. It's starting to feel like the new season, a very crisp start to the Saturday out there, but plenty of sunshine is on the way. You can see those blue skies right there. Chris has the full forecast coming up on News 3 This Morning Saturday. But first, happy birthday to Brooke, Maisie, and all of the other kiddos turning 3 today. We're back after this.
Good morning. Right on cue, those fall-like temperatures are starting to be seen here in south central Wisconsin. We started out at 39 degrees this morning, but we've warmed up by 5 degrees, so now we're at 44. We still have those winds out of the north at 5 miles per hour, but they're going to be turning later on through the day. We'll talk about that in a second, but let's talk other temperatures in the meantime. 50 down in Rock County, Camp Douglas at 39, Black River Falls at 41. So now we are seeing more of those 40s and 50s starting to take over, and that is as winds slowly begin to turn out of the south. We will see more of that going into the afternoon and evening, especially into Sunday as well. We'll have a pretty strong southerly wind, and that's really going to help those temperatures warm up on Sunday. Let's go ahead and take you hour by hour through today and tomorrow. 60 right now. We'll top out right around 66 towards this afternoon. Notice the sunshine out there. We might see a few decorator clouds, but then overnight tonight, mainly clear skies, not as cool as we were tonight. And then tomorrow will be much warmer with those temperatures topping out into the low 70s for a lot of those highs. The reason for that, high pressure is in control right now. That's what's helping to keep us cool. But as that moves its way to the south and east, that's why we see that southerly wind component take over. Now, eventually, we'll turn our attention to this region of low pressure over the plains. That's going to be bringing the next rain chance into south central Wisconsin. And behind that rain chance are temperatures that will be cooler. We'll go from 74 on Monday back through the 60s. By this time next week, we may even struggle to get out of the 50s. So yes, fall-like weather is on the way, although we don't start fall until that equinox happens at 8:54. And what happens during the equinox, essentially the sun's direct rays hit the equator there, and we see an even amount of daylight and nighttime hours. The earth is neither turned towards or away from the sun during that period as well, but we're gradually turning away. And so right in time for fall, we are starting to see some of those fall colors beginning to show up. It's not everyone yet, but especially further north you are, you'll see more of those, and that'll gradually work its way south as we go through about the next 3 to 5 weeks. So Madison and Milwaukee, patchy at best, but as you go up towards Green Bay and Wausau, that's where you're starting to see those leaves that are, say, 25 to 45% in coverage in terms of the fall leaves. And the weather that we have going through the next week is perfect for getting more of those colors to begin to show off. You need a nice cool night and a warm sunny day, and what that does is that gets the sugars going in those leaves, but then at night the sugar is not able to get far away from the leaf, and that keeps a lot of that color in. So let's go through the next couple of weeks and see how things goes. I want to see your leaf pictures, folks. Definitely send those in. We'll have a few rain chances throughout the week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so about every other day in this pattern that we're in, but we will be staying cool. If you're going to be out walking your pet today, here's Brandy in Oregon for your pet walk. 3 o'clock, temperatures right around 65 degrees. There will be plenty of sunshine.
We all know those dogs love to play in the leaves too,
Oh,
right?
yes, they do. If you have video or pictures of that, send those our way as well.
We love seeing them.
Yep.
All right, well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and check out this picture. Sue Wanginger posted this on Facebook. Check out that sunrise. We've also had some beautiful sunrises lately too.
Been, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing, Sue. What does your morning look like? Be sure to take a picture and post it to our Facebook page, Twitter, or Instagram, and use that hashtag MyNews3Morning. That's how we share our favorites right here on the show. Time right now is 8:51. Stay with News 3 and Channel 3000 this weekend. On our news at 6 and 10 tonight, we're heading to Monroe Street for the annual festival happening during a major construction project this year. But first, Christmas came early this year for a little boy battling a deadly disease. He may be fighting for his life, but this week he got a surprise of a lifetime. The heartwarming story you won't want to miss when News 3 This Morning Saturday continues. Welcome back at 8:54. It may be September, but this week Christmas came early for a young boy battling a deadly cancer.
And as Brad Underwood shows us, there are some things that cancer just can't take away.
With a loud entrance, members of the Boone County Sheriff's Office and SWAT show off their toys for 2-year-old Brody Allen.
Look at that. Whoa.
Brody even got to sit in the driver's seat. But as cool as all this is, the officers have nothing on the next surprise guest. As he gets closer, Brody sees Santa, or as he likes to call him, Ho-Ho. Brody's cancer is terminal, so Christmas is coming in September for him and his family.
To have so many people across the world reach out to my son and to tell him Merry Christmas and we're thinking about you and we love you is just the greatest gift that I as a father could never give them.
Earlier in the week, the Christmas decorations started going up in Brody's neighborhood. Then cards started coming in the mail, and they haven't stopped.
We get people wishing him Merry Christmas from Belgium, Germany, Russia, Tasmania, Italy, all over the world. It's crazy, but he loves it.
All the presents, all the cards, and all the wishes may not compare to what Santa brought Brody today, a new puppy named Lucy.
Like your puppy?
While the week has been full of visits, gifts, and attention, Mackenzie Allen says each night the family has its time with Brody.
We still have our private time, and it's great. We just sit on the floor, and play with his new toys that he got, and fall asleep watching movies or talking or giggling, whatever it may be. So we still get that family time.
And that's something that Brody's cancer can't and won't take from him, the love that surrounds him.
Wow.
What a beautiful story there.
Sometimes it's those little things, right?
Absolutely. Speaking of beautiful, though, our forecast for the weekend will absolutely remain that way. We'll have plenty of sunshine going through today, which, keep in mind, fall does begin today, 8:54 p.m. So a little under 12 hours from now, if you look at the clock and it's 8:54, do yourself a little celebration, maybe have a glass of apple cider. That's
a weekend of 2 seasons.
Exactly, a weekend of 2 seasons. But we'll keep the sunshine around going through Sunday and Monday before those rain chances Monday night and into Tuesday. Another rain chance Thursday and Friday. By next weekend, folks, we could struggle to get out of the 50s with lows even deeper into the upper 30s than we saw today.
All right, Chris, thank you, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.